Ever wondered which cities in Canada are battling the biggest cleanliness challenges? Picture streets littered with trash, air quality so poor it leaves you lightheaded, and public spaces in dire need of attention. From garbage-strewn areas to severe air pollution, some Canadian cities are facing significant environmental issues. Canada's record-setting wildfire season has drastically increased its pollution levels, making its air quality worse than that of the US for the first time. Previously known for having the cleanest air in North America, Canada now has the top 13 most polluted cities in the region. Now in 2024, Canada's wildfire season has flared up again, forcing thousands to evacuate and triggering air quality alerts. In Canada, 41% of cities had annual PM 2.5 levels, more than twice the WHO guideline, with 11% exceeding it threefold, finds the latest World Air Quality Report released by IQ Air, a Swiss technology company. Each city we explore has unique challenges, such as inefficient waste management and poor air quality. Our rankings are generalized and provide an overall assessment without singling out particular locations as being dirtier than others. No city is inherently dirty. It's often the habits of the residents that impact cleanliness. When people act selfishly and disregard the environment, it can lead to a city appearing unclean and polluted. Let's take a look. Number 7. Windsor, Ontario. This Canadian city is known for its automotive industry and its close proximity to Detroit, Michigan. Windsor also faces significant environmental challenges, particularly with air pollution and industrial waste. The city's high level of particulate matter and improper waste disposal practices contribute to this ranking. And it's not just what the city's doing. They've got some hurdles they have to deal with every single day: cross-border traffic. The influx of vehicles traveling between the US and Canada generates large amounts of emissions, and the city struggles to maintain air quality standards. Windsor produces substantial industrial waste due to its automotive factories. That's not counting the residential waste. Although it's smaller than cities like Toronto, Windsor's industrial sector contributes heavily to pollution. If you visit Windsor, you'll likely spend time in the downtown area or near the waterfront. You might not notice the pollution right away because these areas are well maintained. The city and local businesses work hard to keep these spots as clean as possible. But venture outside these areas a bit, and you'll start to see a different story. Not everywhere, but there are definitely spots that could be considered less pristine. Number 6. Hamilton, Ontario. Despite efforts to clean up, Hamilton's large industrial base contributes to significant litter and unsanitary conditions, especially in urban areas near factories. While this may not be the first thing you think of when considering Hamilton's attributes, air quality in Hamilton has become a significant concern for residents and environmentalists alike. The city is home to some of the largest steel plants in North America, and the industrial output leads to considerable pollution. If you walk around the industrial areas, I suggest wearing a mask, because you never know what you're going to inhale. It's going to be soot or chemical fumes. Hamilton's air is like smoking part of a cigarette every day when it comes to inhaling cancer-causing benzo-A-pyrene, says a researcher behind a 2-year study of the air quality throughout the municipality. The 70-year-old retired personal support worker, who lives in the East End but frequents downtown, often sees empty coffee cups, food wrappers, and litter on the sidewalks. Walking down James Street North toward Main reveals graffiti on the walls of the now-closed city center and feces on the sidewalk. The pervasive litter and defacement highlight the ongoing struggle with public cleanliness in Hamilton's urban areas. Number 5. Regina, Saskatchewan. I'm sure many of you might not expect Regina to make this list, but here we are. Regina's environmental issues are largely due to its extreme weather conditions. The harsh winters and blistering summers make air pollution a serious concern. High levels of particulate matter in the air can make you feel like you're breathing through a dusty filter. And it's not just uncomfortable, it's a real health risk. But it's not just the air that's a problem. Regina's waste management system often falls short. Despite regular bi-weekly garbage pickups, the issue persists, leaving many areas untidy. Leah O'Malley, a local resident, points out that the homelessness crisis has worsened the situation, making proper disposal challenging for those without stable housing. Local resident Aaron Pike from North Central Regina expresses frustration, stating that community members are tired of repeatedly asking for help to manage the garbage problem. She notes that trash, particularly in back alleys, often remains even after scheduled pickups, contributing to the ongoing cleanliness issues. Springtime worsens the situation, as melting snow reveals the accumulated litter ignored over the winter. Resident Paradis described parts of the alleys as resembling garbage dumps. There's diapers, there's food, there's needles, there's mattresses, there's couches all up and down my alley. Number 4. St. John's S, Newfoundland, and Labrador. St. John's might charm you with its colorful row houses and stunning coastal views, but don't let that fool you. Beneath the charming facade, this city is facing some serious cleanliness issues. The constant battle against the elements makes it incredibly difficult to maintain clean streets and manage waste effectively. You see, St. John's generates a huge amount of waste, and when the winter storms roll in or the summer heat ramps up, managing all that garbage becomes a monumental task. Empty cans, plastic bags, and rotting food are an unwelcome and disgusting sign of spring in the city, according to one St. John's resident who blames others for fouling the neighborhood. George Vokey, who lives in Stab Court just off Elizabeth Avenue in the East End, says the garbage is more than just an eyesore, it's also a health hazard. Additionally, St. John's has a notable homelessness situation, which contributes to the litter problem and complicates efforts to keep the city clean. The severe air pollution here is no joke either. High levels of particulate matter hang in the air thanks to both natural and human activities, making every breath feel like you're inhaling a bit of grit. And then there are the pests. St. John's is practically overrun with rats and seagulls, both of which thrive on the abundant garbage. St. John's names as rattiest city is #1 in Atlantic Canadian cities when it comes to rats, according to Canada. If you're walking around the city, don't be surprised if you see seagulls diving into trash bins or rats scurrying through the streets. It's an everyday reality here, and it adds to the city's overall grit and grime. #3. Edmonton, Alberta. Alberta is Canada's most polluted province, and it has emitted over 256 million metric tons of carbon dioxide and was responsible for second largest green gas emissions in 2023. Edmonton, a capital city of Alberta, has occasionally faced criticism regarding its cleanliness, with factors such as littering, garbage accumulation, graffiti, and urban wildlife contributing to a perception of untidiness in certain areas. The presence of a significant homeless population and ongoing construction projects also add to these concerns, as they can lead to visible waste and temporary disruptions. Edmonton's homelessness crisis, with over 3,051 individuals estimated to be without stable housing in 2023, has contributed significantly to the city's litter and waste management issues. The presence of homeless encampments has exacerbated public cleanliness concerns, highlighting the urgent need for comprehensive support and services. Despite these challenges, efforts are continuously made by the city and its residents to address these issues and improve the overall cleanliness. Additionally, Edmonton's air quality and pollution levels have been topics of concern. Industrial activities, vehicular emissions, and seasonal wildfires can affect air quality, occasionally leading to elevated levels of pollutants. The harsh winter conditions can exacerbate cleanliness issues. Snow and ice can cover litter and waste, which becomes more visible during the thaw, leading to a sudden increase in perceived dirtiness in the spring. Next time you're in Edmonton, pay attention to the less polished areas, and you'll see the reality of the city's environmental challenges. #2. Vancouver, British Columbia. British Columbia's air quality is nearly 4 times worse than world's most polluted city. I was in Vancouver, British Columbia, not too long ago, and let me tell you, the city has a unique blend of beauty and grime. On one side, you've got these breathtaking views of the mountains and ocean, but take a wrong turn, and you're in a different world. Vancouver's beautiful beaches are being ruined by people leaving trash everywhere. The sight of litter scattered across the sand has left community leaders and residents upset about the lack of care for their city. Park Board Vice Chair expressed being heartbroken and disappointed about how beaches were treated like a toilet. She lamented, "It was incredibly unfortunate that people in our fair city absolutely have zero civic pride and leave their rubbish all over the sand and all over the grass," specifically referring to the food containers, plastic, alcohol containers, and boxes strewn across the area. Cigarette butts are the most common litter in Vancouver. Despite various education and mitigation programs over the years, the threat of fines up to $10,000 is just stated and not properly implemented, with only 7 fines issued for littering so far in 2023. The city's air quality isn't great either, with vehicle emissions and industrial activities. I advise visitors to avoid one part of downtown in particular, Hastings Street between Abbott Street and Main Street. This 500 meters of Hastings Street is where many homeless people, drug addicts, mentally ill people spend their time 24/7. There is nothing there for visitors anyway, so it is easy to avoid those 4 blocks of Vancouver. #1. Montreal. With its population exceeding 1.7 million residents, Montreal ranks as the second largest city in Canada after Toronto. Montreal is renowned for its vibrant culture and historic charm, but it also faces challenges related to cleanliness and environmental conditions. The city generated 2.1 billion tons of waste in 2023, and it is expected to grow to 4 billion by 2050, which makes it difficult to handle and recycle waste. Montreal water quality is problematic to say the least. Aging infrastructure, climate change, and population growth are putting significant pressure on Montreal's water resources. The Montreal region alone produces 2/3 of the wastewater in Quebec. The province's second most densely populated city, Quebec City, also discharges its wastewater into the St. Lawrence. Most water treatment plants, including the one in Montreal, do not carry out tertiary treatment. That is, they remove large waste and particulates, but do not disinfect water, disrupting the clean water supply. Graffiti and litter are common issues, even in central and touristic areas, such as the Quartier Latin and Old Town. Sidewalks on major walking streets and residential areas are overgrown with weeds, and poor landscaping leaves small stones scattered everywhere. Litter is prevalent throughout the city, covering sidewalks and roads. That wraps up today's video. I hope you found it both enjoyable and informative. If you'd like to see a part 2 on the most polluted cities in Canada, let me know in the comments.